Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putty and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Welcome to Americana, one show, of course, that we hold in April. The greatest territorial wrestling on the planet today. You know it's true, the wrestling industry is still crashing at the hands of, what's his name, Frederick something. It's a regen with an F+ star quality that TCW have pushed to the moon. I'll have to show you him one day. But it's pretty freaking crazy, and they're crashing the wrestling industry, but luckily the economy is getting better. We're selling more tickets to our Chicago shows. Our mall zone investment has definitely paid off. We're doing quite well, even though the world is burning around us. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it is Americana, and we are supposed to have a World's Heavyweight Championship match between Logan Wolfsbaine and Garry Walker, although Logan Wolfsbane did suffer an injury last episode, so we're going to have to talk about that a little bit. Also, it was announced mid-month that tonight we are going to be having an 8-team tag team tournament to determine the new MAW tag team champions after Audi Goon were forced to vacate the titles. Audi Goon, of course, Terry Dale broke his neck. He's going to be out for a while, may never even recover, but we're hoping he will, and we're wishing him the best. But his partner Clinton Adams has found a new partner who we will talk to or get to know in the ring later tonight. Devil May Care in the tournament, the Heartbreak Express, the Southern Stars, many more teams. We leave a couple of them a surprise. Let's just get into the show and see what exactly is going on tonight. We kick off the show with Logan Wolfsbaine coming to the ring and saying, "Garry Walker, I owe you an explanation. I suffered a fractured cheekbone last month, and that means I'm afraid I'm just not able to wrestle you tonight. It's my cheekbone, man. You can't get over that. So I'm sure we can rearrange our match to another time, sometime in the future. But tonight, it's not gonna happen. I have a fractured cheekbone. I'm sorry." And Garry Walker comes out, even though I didn't put it in the angle for some reason. Garry Walker comes out and says, "Man, that is bullshit. Fractured cheekbone, really, Logan? You don't think we all take a few knocks here or there, a few stingers, a few little niggling injuries, and still wrestle? You're the world's heavyweight champion, Logan. I've always had a problem with you, and you know it. But looking at you now, I don't know how much respect I can have left for you. You're supposed to be the guy, the top of the mountain, the shining star of professional wrestling, and you're out here crying about a fractured cheekbone? You know what, man, I can't even with you." And then Logan Wolfsbane pulls out a long piece of paper and says, "Sorry, man, I wish I could wrestle, but I haven't been cleared. My doctor will not let me wrestle." And he hands Garry the piece of paper, and Garry just looks at it in a just dissenting tone and says, "Fine. You know what? Fine, Logan. Go take some rest. Have a lay down. And when you're finally not scared to face me because I beat you last October, then come back. And I will beat you." "Listen here, Garry Walker," Logan replies. "I'm not scared to face you. Okay, when we do fight, and it will be soon, I will destroy you so badly I will leave you groveling, retching on the ground, looking up at me and begging me to put an end to your misery, and all I will ask from you, Garry Walker, is that you bask in my glory. I am not scared to face you. I wish I could take that smug smile off your face tonight, but I can't." And Logan Wolfsbane leaves the ring with his big gold championship around his waist, Marv Statler in tow, and Garry Walker is left a little sad in the ring. But ladies and gentlemen, we do have the kickoff match for our 8-team tag team tournament. And it is Audi Goon 2, the team of Clinton Adams and Darren Gurgel, the new member of Audi Goon. Darren Gurgel shows his spirit in his fight tonight. He's very much a Puresu style wrestler, a lot of strikes and kicks and fighting spirit. And he has a very good exchange with Jack Wood, who is, of course, another fighting spirit, Puresu kind of style guy. Of course, their opponents tonight, Dewey Archer and Jack Wood, two members of MC Motormouth's Dream Team. The hottest brand in professional wrestling today, the Dream Team, managed by the executive management specialist MC Motormouth, Jack Wood, of course, the hottest crossover athlete in all of professional wrestling today. Dewey Archer, the most must-see superstar in Mid-Atlantic wrestling history. And they're facing Audi Gun. And again, like we said, Jack Wood has that fighting spirit sequence with Darren Gurgel, the new member of Audi Gun. But the real star of the match is, of course, Clinton Adams, who continues to be a sensational wrestler. Just massive amounts of spirit, massive amounts of heart. And true adrenaline rush style, true quick wrestling from Clinton Adams, who picks up the victory, and Audi Gun will advance to the semi-finals. Alright, now we've got our second quarterfinal match as Devil May Care defeat the Southern Stars, the Valhalla Boys, with their bodies as weapons attitude, managed to take down the former Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, the Southern Stars, as Acid 2 defeats Animal Harker with a Jump the Shark, the traditional Devil May Care maneuver. We are going to see Devil May Care versus Audi Gun 2 in our first semi-final match of the evening. That's later tonight. But before that, we have some more quarterfinal matchups as Robin DeLay is back together with Papa Dan. They've clearly done some healing off camera. They've made their apologies. Of course, Papa Dan was trying to reach out to Robin DeLay over the winter, trying to tell him that he's a strong man, that he can choose the good side. And it seems like his choice to fight Logan Wolfsbaine and to fight against Team Progress has really put a smile on Papa Dan's face. And the two seem to be back on good terms. Of course, they're former tag team champions when they were both members of Team Progress. And tonight they're facing the Mean Machine and James Diaz, two men who have shown chemistry as a team before. Wrestled a couple of matches here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling as a team, probably back together for one night only, seeing if they can capture those tag team titles. James Diaz, of course, the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling champion at the moment. Unfortunately, despite their raw chemistry, they just don't have the experience that Robin DeLay and Papa Dan, the former MAW tag team champions, do, and in the end, Robin DeLay manages to pick up the victory, that monster powerbomb, getting the big Mean Machine up with a massive powerbomb. They'll be met in the semi-finals by the Heartbreak Express, who defeat Earl Martin and American Elemental by pinfall, and Rolf Leota defeats American Elemental by the score. Of course, the Heartbreak Express are Lisa Bowen's baby boy. She calls them the greatest express-based tag team in professional wrestling today, and they seem to live up to that name every time they go out there. Some big scalp victories, including this one over Earl Martin, the fast-talking, fast-working LA Lifestyle SWF alum, an American Elemental, a man who has toured Japan, toured the world, one of the greatest superstars in the world today. Huge victory for the Heartbreak Express. Big boon to them as they try to win the tag team championships. Alright, we have our first semi-final matches. Audi Gun and Devil May Care go at it. Clashing. Big heat in this match, of course, as Clinton Adams tries to get his hands on Stuntman. Stuntman, the man who broke the neck of Clinton Adams' former tag team partner, Terry Dale. Huge match, this one, and it looks pretty even, actually, as we have Darren Gurgel, the spirited young Puroresu star, holding his own against the Valhalla Boys as they try this innovative, vicious, high-flying style around him. He's holding his own. He's like a rock in the middle of a storm, just holding down the fort. But we have the wild card. Kamikaze comes in and really sets Darren Gurgel off his game. Darren Gurgel not set in the wrestling world yet. Very young, very inexperienced, and he gets really set off his game when Kamikaze interferes. But Garry Walker, of course, who has been basically given the night off now, is free to come out and stop Kamikaze from fully interfering, taking it to Kamikaze, putting the boot in, really, to the high flyer. Garry Walker, of course, a paragon of good, and wants to stop injustice where he can, and he has time tonight. And he stops Kamikaze from interfering. However, the damage is already done as Darren Gurgel is distracted by the interference of Kamikaze and the appearance of Garry Walker. Jump the Shark and Devil May Care are through to the finals. Audi Gun 2 are out of the tournament due to a Kamikaze interference, and after the match, Devil May Care, Kamikaze, Stuntman, and Acid take their attention over to Garry Walker, brutalizing him. We have the Kamikaze monitor to the face, and Garry Walker is left down and out, bloodied in the middle of the ring. Didn't really do very well of stopping the interference, but he tried. He tried. After the match, Logan Wolfsbaine comes out and says, "Garry, that was so valiant. That was so brave. Oh my God, it almost brought a tear to my eye. You came out and tried to do the right thing even though it got you beat. You know what? That has inspired me so much that I'm going to give you your match tonight. If you can somehow summon the strength after that beatdown to come after me for the best title in the world today, Garry, well, you've got it, buddy. You tried so hard right there. You really inspired me. So I tell you what, in our main event of the evening, the match is on, Garry. You, me, the title, everything you've ever wanted. Well, buddy, you've earned it." Logan Wolfsbane clearly picking on a very hurt Garry Walker. I think Garry Walker has a lot more wrong with him at the moment than a fractured cheekbone. But the match is on, and you'll be damn sure that Garry Walker isn't going to give up that opportunity, broken everything or not. So the match is probably on. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a tag team tournament to finish. Let's move on to our second semi-final of the evening as Papa Dan and Robin DeLay make it to the finals, defeating Lisa Bowen's Baby Boys with a Ghoul Bulldog. Big win for Papa Dan and former Team Progress members, former tag team champions. We are guaranteed in our main event to have a 2-time or 4-time tag team champion. Repeat winners are guaranteed. Can Devil May Care get a record title victory, or will Papa Dan and Robin DeLay's return to tag team action reward them in gold? And in our final match of the tournament, Papa Dan and Robin DeLay try to hold the fort down against Devil May Care, but the Valhalla Boys have too much. They're willing to throw their bodies on the line and do everything it takes to win those titles. Doesn't matter how many concussions or how many broken bones they take, so long as the glory is theirs. And indeed, what better glory than the 4-time tag team champions. Record victory for Devil May Care. And Devil May Care do indeed pick up their 4th tag team championship win. Huge victory for the Masked Man. Huge victory for the Valhalla Boys. And after the match, indeed, they get on the mics and say, "We are the greatest tag team in the history of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. And now it is official. Ain't no tag team ever won these titles 4 times. What do we tell you in December? We would break records. We would blaze trails. And we would be the men to win the tag team titles for a 4th time. My boy Stuntman. My boy Acid. We are the greatest trio in all of professional wrestling, and there isn't nobody that are gonna get in our way." And Boss Man Brayfield comes out and says, "Congratulations on your victory, boys. But I think you'll be interested to hear what you're gonna be doing next month at Old School Rules, because there is going to be a historic 6-man tag team match. Kamikaze, Acid, and Stuntman versus Darren Gugel, Clinton Adams, and Garry Walker. The match is going to be inside a steel cage. It's going to be for the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships, and the losing trio will be fired." Bossman Brayfield dropping bombshells. It is going to be the last battle of the Mid-Atlantic. Will Darren Gugel, Clinton Adams, and Garry Walker be able to rid MAW of Devil May Care forever and win Audi Gun 2 their first tag team titles? Or will Devil May Care oust MAW of potentially the world's heavyweight champion? Because, of course, Garry Walker may walk into that match with the greatest prize in all sports entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, that match is up next. In a sensational match, great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd, Logan Wolfsbaine and Garry Walker go at it. And it's very similar to last time with the brutality, the fists of fury that these two men have. These two are outright brawlers at heart. And just like last time, Logan tries to use that technical prowess to break down the body of Garry Walker, the entertainer, the underdog, whatever you want to call him. Garry Walker, one of the strongest men in terms of will in all of professional wrestling, but sadly, despite his hard work, he isn't one of the strongest men in professional wrestling in terms of body. And Logan Wolfsbaine is able to break Garry Walker's body repeatedly. And of course, Gary's been through a lot tonight. He's been through a lot tonight. He got beat down hard in that earlier match when he tried to stop the interference of Kamikaze. And it shows. He is lethargic, he is slow, and he is in there with a predator. Logan Wolfsbaine is vicious. Logan Wolfsbaine is nasty. And Logan Wolfsbaine is good. And he just works down Garry Walker, works over Garry Walker, and destroys him limb from limb. And it shows very clearly that Garry Walker is just out of it. But unlike Robin DeLay, he's not going to fire up with strength. He's not going to fire up with raw physicality because he doesn't have strength. He doesn't have raw physicality. But what Garry Walker does have is heart. What he does have is passion. He has fire, he has fury, and he can punch his way back into the match. And despite blood draining from his face, despite blood pouring out of his very being, Garry Walker will not give up easy, and he fights his way back into the match. 17 minutes he claws his way back into the match. He stands toe-to-toe with Logan Wolfsbane, a man he beat last October, and says, "Fuck you, you're wrong." Logan Wolfsbane's way of professional wrestling is wrong, and I will fight tooth and nail to prove it. And he just punches wildly into the face of Logan Wolfsbane, trying to destroy that fucking cheekbone. Fracture? No, I'm gonna rip it out of the fucking cheekbone. And that's exactly what Garry Walker does. Just rips at Logan Wolfsbane's face, punch after punch, trying to just rearrange the features of Logan Wolfsbane. The fury and the anger, the likes of which we haven't seen from Garry Walker over the last couple of months, is back again. He stares up at glorious Logan Wolfsbane and says, "Fuck you. You are everything I hate in professional wrestling," and keeps punching at that unattainable goal. Keeps punching at that glorious man that stands at the top of the professional wrestling world in hopes of maybe landing that one punch that will earn him his dream. The boyhood dream of Garry Walker to stand at the top of the wrestling world. He's just one punch away, and if he can only land it... But Marv Stadler gets involved. And Garry Walker is put off, and it only takes 1 second of complete concentration lapse, and the Predator pounces. Boston Crab. Garry Walker is on the verge of having his leg broken, and if he's ever going to achieve that dream, he can't miss 4 or 5 months of professional wrestling. He's got to tap. It's the only smart thing to do. And Garry Walker does tap. Logan Wolfsbane is still a champion, but I tell you what, he picked his opportunity, he picked his moment, and he still barely won. If there's one thing we learned from tonight, is that Garry Walker has Logan Wolfsbane's number. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're feeling especially generous and particularly like the episode, there's a link to my Patreon in the description. There's a link to my Twitter in the description if you want to hear me ramble on that. Next episode is Old School Rules. Inside the Steel Cage, Audi Goon and Garry Walker take on Devil May Care, Kamikaze, Stuntman, and Acid. The losing trio is fired. The winning trio's tag team holds on to the gold or wins it. And also in our main event of that night, it is going to be Davis Wayne Newton versus Froshore in a Mid-Atlantic death match. That is, you have to secure a pinfall or a submission. Actually, no. I think a Mid-Atlantic Deathmatch is literally just... Yeah, never mind. We changed it. A Mid-Atlantic Deathmatch is a last man standing match with lots of weapons. So it's going to be brutal. It's going to be bloody. These two men who have been friends for quite a while will get to know each other once again in the best way they know how. With fists, weapons, blood, and fury. And at the end of it, they may just They may have finally come to a common understanding, the likes of which they haven't had for many, many years. It's going to be brutal, it's going to be bloody, probably only one man will leave, and we're certainly losing 3 athletes from the roster next episode, so join me then for the one night of the year where all the rules go old school. See you guys then.